12, we're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with roll call, and we see that everybody's in presence, and I'd just like to acknowledge that this is the chief's last official meeting here with us, so I want to thank you for all the years of dedication you've brought to the Aylmer Police Service and our opportunity to work with you, so thank you very much. Awesome. I know this won't be the last that we see of you, though.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. I know we had some, obviously with the PSB's support, this is how things happen and how we forge forward. And we've had some real good years in terms of budgeting and some of the things that we've done from the operational standpoint and the support side. It's been great. I think you guys are in good hands with Kyle here. He's going to move the service to the greatest levels, beyond what I've taken it to, I'm sure, with his knowledge and the background in the tech side of the house. And that's just that's a testament to the new strategic plan that he and Michelle put together. It's a great document, very well put together, and certainly going to address your needs for the next 3 to 5 years anyways, and beyond that. So thank you very much for your support over the last 7 years. It's been great.
Thank you, Chief.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, now I'm going to hand it over to Michelle for the election of the chair and vice chair.
Okay, so as it's the first meeting of the new year, we need to elect the chair and vice chair. We will start by calling for nominations. Each nomination must be moved and seconded, followed by consent of the nominee, and following third and final call for nominations and more than one nominee stands for election, a ballot vote shall be taken. Should there be a tie vote, ballots continue to be cast until a nominee receives the majority of the votes. So I'll start with a call for nominations for the chair of the Police Service Board.
I'd like to nominate William.
Is there a seconder for that? Okay. Any other nominations for chair of the board? Okay, and third and final call for nominations. All right. Since it is one member, it is unanimous, there's no competition. Chair Barber, you are now the chair of the Police Service Board.
Thank you.
And now I will move on to call for nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Pete Barber. No relation.
And is there a seconder for that nomination?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Member French. Okay. Second call, any more nominations? Third call for nominations for vice chair. All right, and with that, Vice Chair Barber, welcome back to your role of vice chair.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep, so we'll move on to item 3.
All right.
William, just, excuse me, just for the information of the board, would you like to explain, as you did at council the other day, of
I just like to cause confusion. So if it's Chair Barber, I'll say it was that one. Yeah, no, I've been meaning to go back to my biological father's last name for a long time, but you know how us government people work. It takes time sometimes. No, it honestly, for personal reasons, it didn't happen until now. Felt like the right time. Discussions with my family, we decided to move forward with it. A name change isn't as easy as I thought it was, so it did take a bit of time, but we felt it was right, so that's why the change to William Barber. So, yeah. But not to cause confusion between, we spell it different just to keep it.
Yeah, we got it right.
Yeah. All right, I just wanted to also thank you all for the support. I think we've done some amazing things over the last year, and this board works really well together. We went through some changes, and I'm really happy that we have Sherry back on the board, and we get the opportunity to work with you, because I didn't the last time around. But I'm very excited on what we're going to do this year moving forward. So, thank you. All right, confirmation of the agenda. Oh, no, sorry, declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Confirmation of the agenda.
That the board adopts the agenda for the meeting of Friday, January 10th.
Get a mover and seconder? Mary, and Ken. All those in favor? Okay. And minutes?
That the board adopts the minutes noting no errors or omissions.
Mover and seconder again. Sherry and Ken again. All those in favor? And that's carried. No delegations. I see no unfinished business. Is there any new business? No. And we'll move right into the reports. I'll hand it over to, are you taking that?
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the monthly report for the month of December. Attended one domestic violence high-risk committee meeting, which I attended remotely. We had 5 community events, which was pretty good and very well received. We had one opportunity to be invited to the Special Olympics sledge hockey game at the arena here in town with our partners in the St. Thomas Police, and we had 6 of our own officers out, including myself, and it was a very well-received event, so it was pretty fun to be at. As you'll see, rounding out for the year was our foot patrol with some of the highest numbers to date, and with the chief and I kind of making that a priority, it seemed to work pretty well, and we kind of had a lot of very positive feedback from the community and the business owners along the way. So for the month, 48 and a half hours on foot. Given the weather, it's sometimes difficult to get people out, but the officers were up to the challenge and took that on. So rounding out the year with 643 hours is pretty respectable, with 514 being our highest last year. Park Patrol, we had 12 incidents this year, for the month of December as well. And Focus Patrol is 87.5. SFST, Standardized Field Sobriety Tests, we ran 2 for the month of December. Criminal charges were 24 adult, 2 youth. And drug charges, we laid 4 for the month as well, which is quite high considering we've had a spurt of none. It's either feast or famine with those. 911 calls, 10 for the month. Assist other agencies, 28. Sex assaults, we had 1 reported to us for 100% clearance rate, was actually cleared by another jurisdiction and turned over to the London Police where they had other incidents. So good for us.
Can I interrupt real quick, Kyle?
Yes, sir.
Question regarding the 911 calls, because I know there's times where you can call the Aylmer Police Service and report a non-emergency requiring police assistance, which may still be an emergency. Would that be captured under the 911 calls, or is that separate?
Separate. So the 911 logs are just
Strictly
held
911?
separately. Yeah, exactly what's come in as a dialed 911.
Okay, but doesn't capture all of the potential calls to Aylmer Police for service?
Total incoming, no, it's completely separate. So moving along, social media, again, quite popular. We seem to be having a pretty respectable following that continues to grow. Property crime for the month, we had 8 incidents, 5 of which were cleared for a 63% clearance rate, which is rather exceptional. School visits, 2, 3 school calls, 2 youths charged, as mentioned before. School lectures, we had 1, and this one we were actually personally invited by East Elgin, and Constable Ross was asked for specifically to do some training, which, given the climate of how things have been, is very nice to see. So it was very well received. The principal actually reached out afterwards via email, sending their appreciation and how well it was received too. So situation hubs, 2 meetings for the month. Unsolved follow-ups, 80, which, given the other general workload the officers were carrying for the month, is quite substantial. Provincial charges for the month, 19 in the way of traffic, 1 in the way of liquor, 7 other, which encompasses Compulsory Automobile Insurance Act, and then again 24 Criminal Code. Rides were high for the month as we were participating in the provincial festive ride program. We ran 30 for the month of December with about 5,400 vehicles checked, 42 Highway Traffic Act warnings, and 9 roadside breath tests, which resulted in only 1 impaired driver for the month. No use of force reports. Prisoners processed, we had 9 adult males through, 6 adult females, 2 youth, 6 were held for bail, and 11 subsequently released by police on interim judicial orders. We had 1 course for 40 hours for the month. And as as I mentioned before, no budget numbers back from Heather just yet as they're trying to reconcile everything for the year, but we'll have that at the next one. Quick snapshot overall, 9% increase in calls for service between 2023 to this year. A platoon, as I mentioned, PC Ross did a presentation at East Elgin. They also had a rather complex domestic investigation. C and D platoon, impaired, domestic assault, assault with a weapon. And the admin, I said, participated in the sledge hockey and was part of an optic meeting, which is our records management system. Crime unit's been primarily covering the front line, also has quite a lot on his plate with ongoing judicial authorizations and some complex frauds that he's taking on. So, barring any questions, that's the report for the month.
Kyle, big picture question. It appears that the rise in young people doing criminal events is dramatically increasing. Not necessarily Aylmer, but around the world. Is there anything that the community could be doing, or the police services generically could be doing to kind of work toward reducing those numbers?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we're different here, like you said. We don't really have the youth gang problems per se that some of the larger centers have, but, I mean, bored youth get up to things that, you know, they don't necessarily need to be doing. So keeping people occupied in that social argument of having resources and things for people to do is always good. I'm also sitting on the United Way committee where we're trying to actually come up with some type of a drop-in center or some youth center in conjunction with the arena. We're actually making some traction on that, so that's kind of positive. But this also goes back to the police and the schools argument that we as the police have maintained, is that having that positive relationship, first name basis, kind of flagging things before they happen is very important, especially in a small community. So as long as we can keep progressing on that route, on getting us seen in the schools and having that relationship, I think for the Aylmer Police, that's probably the best thing we can do.
Sounds reasonable. Can you keep us informed?
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So crime trend running out 2024. Our violent crime trend actually rather significantly down compared to last year, topping out at 74 as opposed to 86, which is obviously very positive. Property crime rather in line last year as well, rounding out at 150. It says 153, but that number I think is actually, yeah, that is accurate. Yearly drug crime trend, again, I said this was kind of feast or famine. Like, drug crime is in itself its own entity. A lot of these charges come incident to arrest, where we have an impaired driver, or we have, you know, somebody who's arrested for something substantive and then the drugs are found when they're searched, as opposed to just full-on drug investigated crime. But 28 is actually pretty commendable considering we were at 22 last year. So just dealing with that issue, and I know it's kind of a hot button topic with the community surveys that we got back as well, that drug crime is something that, you know, is synonymous with homelessness and something the community is quite worried about. So we are laying possession charges, which you see here reflected in the numbers, where some communities and some police chiefs have taken the stance that they just won't be laying possession charges. Our position is that we need to do what we have with the tools that we have to at least put it before the courts, and what the courts do with it is what the courts do with it. So that's our way of at least supporting the community in that regard. Yearly domestics also trending slightly down from 2023, rounding out at 59. Motor vehicle collisions, we ended at 108. Not a significant increase, but an increase nonetheless. 911 calls considerably down, actually, and again, we've spoken ad nauseum about this and the work that excuse me, is being done at the comm center level and the triaging before it hits the officers. So 137. Foot patrol, as I said, we're quite proud of this stat, and something that we're going to keep pushing moving forward. But 642, almost 643 hours over the course of the year, on top of the officer's responsibilities, is pretty respectable in my opinion. Mental health calls, this is the front-loaded mental health calls. This doesn't necessarily include a lot of the back-end follow-up work that's being done by our MCERT worker, but the calls for service for mental health also down quite significantly at 56 as opposed to 91. Subject to any questions, that's the trends and comparisons for 2024.
Any questions for the deputy chief? I'd just like to comment that it's great to see the foot patrol hours continually rise each year, because that's one thing the community loves, is seeing our frontline officers, even in the winter when it's cold.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, can we get a resolution for that, Michelle?
That the reports of the deputy chief of police be received for.
Can I get a mover and, excuse me, seconder? Pete and Mary. All those in favor? All right. Correspondence, does anyone have anything regarding the correspondence we received? All right, and I guess we'll move into closed session.
Okay. That the police service board shall move into a meeting close to the public at 9:28 a.m. to consider deputy chief of police report regarding negotiations, and that consideration of this item is closed to the public pursuant to section 44(2)(d) of the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019 as amended, as the subject matter pertains to or employee negotiations.
Can I get a mover and seconder? Mary? And Sherry? All those in favor? Okay, and we're in closed.
That the board rise from the meeting close to the, at 10:04 a.m. and reports the following, that the board provided direction to the Deputy Chief of Police.
Moved by Sherry, second by Mary. All those in favor? All right, and adjournment.
That the board now adjourn at 10:04 a.m.
Mover and seconder. Ken? Sherry?
We all-
All right, all those in favor?
Okay.
All right, and we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.